Alright. Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to the Game Lounge. Going up for another session of Super Mario Galaxy 100%. And if I am right, which I should very much be, I hope so, we are going to be finishing the first half of this 100% session, where we are playing as Mario. And then I will finally be able to do what I sought out to do so long ago, being able to 100% this game and unlock Luigi. Something that ought to be a fun time. Now, we only have 13 stars left before the end, and they're all remaining in the garden, as well as, I believe, one Hungry Luma. So we can just go ahead and start making our way over, and we can see how we do. Now, I will have to say that I wasn't entirely sure if I was going to be doing this stream today, just because I don't know necessarily what it is, but there's just been a sort of drive, I suppose, within me that was just making me debate whether I wanted to even try and go for today or not. But I decided that I'm just going to go with it anyways, and we'll just see how things go. Hopefully it'll be able to lift my spirits in some way. And, I mean, seeing as how we're nearing the end of the game and finally getting around to 100%, especially seeing as how I was able to get past all the things that were a challenge for me back then so easily, then I don't see why not. This shouldn't be improving my mood in some way. So, let's just go ahead and get about doing this. Now, starting this one, we're doing Melty Molten Galaxy. This is actually a galaxy that I know a lot of people speak a lot of praise for, and I mean, it's well served considering how it's a galaxy that really feels like it's meant to be the final galaxy before the end of the game, which is completely why I'm playing it as the second to last galaxy rather than the actual last galaxy before the end of the game. Because I have a personal reason for going about the next galaxy, but I'll get to that when I eventually get to it. But yeah, in regards to Melty Molten Galaxy, if I can actually maneuver the camera, I guess I can't, because this is still ye olden days of Mario prior to Odyssey, and I don't even think 3D World actually had a maneuverable camera like Odyssey had, where it was full 360. Unfortunately, we're having to deal with the limitations that come with Galaxy, unfortunately. But I don't think that'll be too much of an issue. Assuming that I don't end up killing myself in some way, though. By complete accident. As we almost just had right there. As a good example of what just happened. I think I'm not going to bother with this. I'm going to go back this way and try and not get myself killed. Though that is going to be easier said than done, considering how Melty Molten Galaxy seems to be the area where most people end up dying, usually as a result of just being a bit overwhelmed by things, as well as legitimate surprises like what just happened right there. But I'm hoping, seeing as how for the most of this live stream I've been doing quite well, I'm hoping to be able to prove myself better than that. Especially seeing as how, usually in most cases like this, and actually real quick, I'm going to slide down here. And where does this go again? Oh, it just goes right back over here. Well, that was a waste of time. But hey, I don't care if I'm wasting my time. I'm just trying to enjoy myself. And that's what, that honestly, even with whether I'm getting any kind of views with these streams or not, I really don't mind whether I'm getting any kind of views, because I'm honestly doing this mostly just for myself, to find an excuse to go back and play games that I haven't played in such a long time, as well as play games that I really haven't just gotten around to playing and just really want to find an excuse to get around to playing. And I do have a particular game in mind for what I want to do after Galaxy, but that is not going to be for a while, at least unless I decide to change up my streaming schedules, which let's be honest, I haven't been keeping well to the schedule to begin with, but we can see how things go with that. But yeah, I like, whether I'm getting any kind of views or not, like, that's not something I'm necessarily caring about. I'm just trying to find a reason to go back, play games that I enjoyed, as well as try and play any games that I haven't yet played, but I feel I would probably enjoy. Now I'm about to die right here, more than likely. Oh wow, I am shocked that that did not kill me. I was highly expecting to die right there because I was way too reckless and just impatient. I really probably should have died there, but hey, I will not complain at all. What I will do is I'm actually going to leap this way and get this particular mushroom so that I can delay the inevitable. Nice and well. Yeah, Melty Molten Galaxy. Overall, a galaxy that I know a lot of people enjoy, and myself included. I'm not gonna try and say anything like, "Oh, this galaxy isn't as good as people make it out to be. It's way popular compared to this other galaxy." No, I can completely understand why Melty Molten is as loved as it is. But there is a particular reason for me, anyways, why I am holding off on... I am so close to death, but there is a reason for me why I'm holding off on this one particular galaxy that we have left. But in the meantime, I'm just gonna go ahead and continue going about this one, assuming, you know, I don't, well, die like that. At least I get started back up on this planet, though. Probably should not have long jumped right there. I'm probably about to die a second time. I'm very calm with my way of sounding like I'm about to die, but it's okay. Everything is okay. Because now everything is back to the way it was. I have 6 life points now. And if I am good about this, I think this is actually the star that I was missing from last time. Want to be careful because of these geysers. And then we can go about getting the rest of these, assuming that I manage to make it without dying this time. I suppose, though, to go into a bit of the... just to find a little bit of a topic to discuss while just playing, I guess I could elaborate on just why I'm not in the best of feelings for today, including how yesterday was, but yeah. Really, it's nothing too big. It's not like anything is bringing me down in particular. I think yesterday in particular was mainly just because I was not doing well about my eating habits. Because ever since the new year, I've actually been trying to change my eating habits since my last doctor visit. And I'm hoping that I can improve upon my health in some way. I'm sure that none of you are caring about this in any regard, but whatever. This is what I want to talk about right now. But decided to switch up, not necessarily my diet, but rather just my general eating plan, so that I'm eating a lot less junk food and trying to focus more on things that just are better for the body in general. Now, that doesn't necessarily mean that I'm cutting out junk food for the rest of my life. That's basically just setting me up for failure. But I am trying to heavily moderate how much I'm going to be taking in regards to the good versus the bad. And yesterday was an example of me just being horrible about my moderation, because I ate nothing but the worst of junk food, and I ended up just feeling legitimately, like, to the point of vomiting almost, just because of how unhealthy the food I was eating was. Just so oily and, like, hyper-y sugar. Like, it wasn't until the end of the day when I finally had something healthy that I started to feel better. But even then, like, going into the night, that was a bit of a struggle. And there was also, at the time of this stream, I also went to go watch the Ant-Man movie yesterday. Just hoping that Disney has reclaimed a sliver, or specifically Marvel, I should say. Just hoping that they would reclaim a sliver of what made them good. And I have to say that unfortunately within the first 5 minutes, while I was happy with what I was seeing in the first 5 minutes, seeing Paul Rudd's character just being Paul Rudd, because, like, legitimately, I don't hear a lot of people talk about Paul Rudd as an actor compared to people like, you know, Keanu Reeves or any other sort of actor that's like, oh, they're such a good person. But no, like, Paul Rudd in particular is a guy who, like, he's just a simple dude, like Keanu Reeves, where he's just there in a way, I suppose, of putting it, but, like, he means well. He legitimately means well, and I feel that translates very well into the character of Scott Lang for the movie. Unfortunately, though, that is, like, the only good thing I could say about this particular Ant-Man movie, because after the first 5 minutes, I just couldn't care anymore. Like, there was nothing good. Oh, I see that we have somebody here. Hello there. Congratulations, you are actually my first person here as a part of my streams. Misplaced stuff. I'm going to assume that you're possibly someone from my Discord group. But yeah, congratulations. You are legit. You are my first ever member for the live stream, so congratulations and welcome. But yeah, just here playing some Mario Galaxy. This is my first time going through 100%ing, and I thought I would try and at least record myself in a way of accomplishing that. Okay, so you are from the Discord. That's good to know. But yeah, I'm not sure if your reaction face was from me discussing Ant-Man and the Wasp in Quantum Mania, but yeah, legitimately, after the first 5 minutes of that movie, I could not find any kind of enjoyment from that movie. And oh dear, it looks like the galaxy's punishing me for it. But yeah, like, after the first 5 minutes, I just couldn't find any legitimate kind of enjoyment out of it, and there were plenty of points throughout the movie where I was just debating just leaving the movie theater. It was that disappointing of a movie compared to a majority of the previous phases Marvel movies. Because I know that the fourth wave, there weren't a lot of hits necessarily. Like, there was the Spider-Man movie, which was pretty good. Actually, there were 2 Spider-Man movies, now that I think about it. There was, No Way Home, which was the crossover with the other Spider-Man, which was a legitimately great movie. And then there was, what was the name of the second one? Where he ended up going to Europe? I'm actually blanking on it right now. I know it's a theme with home. I just can't remember it. But yeah, the one that had yeah, there we go, Far From Home. The one that had Mysterio in it. I know a lot of people kind of go back and forth on their thoughts for Far From Home in regards to the whole shift between focus of Peter Parker, Spider-Man, and his whole living up to the expectations of Iron Man kind of thing, which is what a lot of people had kind of issues with for the Homecoming movie as well, where it felt like it was a Spider-Man movie that was tacked on to the Marvel Universe, which I can kind of get, but I'm just happy in general to have had a Spider-Man movie at all. Let's see, I need to bring this guy over to the torches if I remember. Yeah, that's right. And then we launch ourselves. Yeah, I will say I am glad that we got a third Spider-Man movie as well, especially considering how this one was really trying to reinforce the fact that they are finally separating Spider-Man not entirely from the MCU, but rather separating him from everything else that they kept attaching him to, so that he can now just start doing his own stuff, you know, assuming that they don't try and just reattach him to the rest of the Marvel Universe. But maybe we can finally get to see him just doing his own thing and not forcibly tie it to everything else in the Marvel Universe, because God forbid we just have a single movie that is not tied to anything, right? And that's been everyone's issue with Phase 4 overall, where like every single movie has to tie in to the bigger picture rather than just being a movie that has its own story, and then you can save the hinting for like a post-credit scene like they've always done. But no, we have to make everything be tied together now in a nice little bow, except the bow is run ragged and you've been reusing the same bow over and over. Yeah, it's honestly been feeling like a money grab most of the time. But hopefully, whatever is going on with Marvel in general, because, like, again, the Ant-Man movie just... I was not happy with the end result. And apparently box office sales are saying that a lot of people weren't caring about the movie as well. Like, Disney is not making back any of the money that they got from that movie. So hopefully that will be some kind of a sign to the studios for Marvel, or just Kevin Feige, really, that something needs to change. I think this is also, real quick, to go back to the game. Oh! I think this is actually the last of the motion control ball sequences that are in the game. And what's neat about this one is how, and I think it's only for this one, they actually change up the instrumentation so that it is, it's still the same song, but the instruments they use are different this time. And I think that's pretty cool. Yep. I'm being way too impatient. But then again, impatience brings fun in my eyes. If I were a smart person at all, which I am, based on what you're seeing here, not a very smart person, I'd actually be trying to take my time. But I want to do things fast, because if I do it fast, then I don't have to worry about the problems. Like that. But yeah, this whole stream in general, I was debating on whether I wanted to do or not because of just how I was feeling yesterday after watching that movie, as well as just like not at all eating healthy. But after a bit of just mulling it over, I decided, screw it, I'll just do it anyways. Maybe my mood will improve as I play. Which I'll say for the most part it is. I hope I'm not being too loud, by the way. I keep on seeing my mic spiking into the red momentarily, and I've turned it down some beforehand. I might turn it down a bit more just to make sure I'm not being too loud. Alright, it's good to know that my audio isn't being too loud. I just want to make sure that I'm not being too loud while also making sure that the game audio isn't overpowering. But yeah, what you're saying there in regards to the Avenger movies, like, back then, it was meant to be a nice little hodgepodge of stuff that was supposed to start off as its own thing, and then you see it form into something bigger, like it's an anticipation. Now, it's all about getting everyone ready for what the next big thing is, constantly trying to tease what that big thing is. And at this point, I'm pretty sure it's confirmed that it's supposed to be Kang the Conqueror, based on how the past couple movies have been, with how they're focusing on the multiverse in general. But, like, nowadays, with all the TV shows, the movies, like, not everybody is going to be keeping up with these things, especially with the Disney Plus stuff. Like, sure, there are going to be a lot of people with Disney Plus, but there's not going... That doesn't guarantee that everyone's going to be watching the Marvel content. Ooh, I almost just died right there. And as a result, there's going to be things people are not going to be understanding. Well, I get my ass roasted there. But, there's a lot of things people aren't going to understand, and you're going to have to tell them, oh, that's because you need to go watch this, or you needed to see this specific end credit scene to understand why this is happening. And at that point, and that's the biggest problem with Phase 4 overall, is the fact that it feels like it's homework rather than it is just general entertainment for the audiences. Like, you're having to do homework to keep up with everything. And, as someone who did good in school, I don't want to be doing any more homework now that I'm out of school. Just let me enjoy something without feeling like I'm having to commit to it in some way. Anyways, we got ourselves here the Daredevil Comet mission for Melty Molten, and I know that this is like one of the biggest challenges for in general with Mario Galaxy, compared to like the purple coins anyways, where for the purple coins you're God, I'm bad. For the most part with the purple coins, you're just having to deal with the pressure of getting everything in time, depending on what mission you're doing. For this one, though, you're literally replaying the entirety of the first mission, but you only have one hit, and that can end up making people get really panicky really easily. Yeah, the Loki show... I feel bad for the Loki show, honestly, because there was legitimate potential in it. And granted, there's still a second season in it that is supposed to be coming out, I'm assuming, later this year. I don't know. I haven't been paying attention to the list of the phases. I know that in, what, a month or two, there's going to be the Guardians movie. So, like, we're not even going to give Ant-Man all that much time to be able to settle before going right into the next movie, which I saw the trailer for that the first time while preparing to watch the Ant-Man movie. It was during the previews, and gotta say, I was not at all impressed. I already feel like they're trying to do one of two things, where they're going to try and pull a gotcha moment on us, which they already kind of tried to do with Ant-Man in this movie, where they try and make it, like, if nobody minds being spoiled about this very mediocre movie, they try and pull this whole moment towards the end where they make you think, oh man, are they really about to kill Ant-Man? And I think that was a thing that was being talked about, like, behind scenes, or, like, just in general groups of audiences, where people really thought that they were going to be killing Ant-Man, first off, in his own movie, which I already felt was a bit of a red flag, but then again, with how hard they were trying to throw it down your neck, I mean, anything was possible after that point. But, thankfully, though, the one and only good character in that movie, Logan, you know what, yeah, you are right about that in regards to Logan, But I will say, in defense of Logan, they set it up in a heavily implied way that he was likely not going to be getting out of things in the end. This movie, they don't really throw any kind of implications of like, oh, this is going to be the last time we're ever going to see Ant-Man. Because for Logan, they're setting up a whole bunch of resolve with Logan. Like, they're basically trying to get him all the... what's the word I'm trying to look for? But yeah, basically resolving all of his problems that he ever faced before, you know, offing him at the end. And they weren't really doing anything like that with this movie for Ant-Man, so I felt pretty confident in the idea that he wasn't going to be dying. Which again, I'm just glad for, because... There we go, closure. Yeah, that's the word I was looking for. But yeah, seeing as how Scott was the only good character in my eyes for this movie, because I don't know what it was with all the other characters. My biggest problem was with Hope, which was supposed to be Scott's daughter. Like, I get that because of what they did with Endgame, she was one of the people that was not dusted by Thanos, and so she grew older. And I don't think they ever actually say what her age is supposed to be. It's, if I remember, it was only 5 years between the events of Infinity War and Endgame. But Hope's character looks way older than she's supposed to be, because in the first two Ant-Man movies, she looked like she was no more than at least like 8 years old. And in this movie, she looks like she's straight up like 17, 18. Maybe 16, but like even then, that's still like not nearly enough of a time gap to make them seem like spread enough in the age. But her character, like, she was nothing like how she was for the previous two movies. Now, granted, we didn't get to see enough of her in the first two movies to establish a full-blown character, but based on the interactions between Scott and Hope, it was supposed to be heavily implied that she was basically like the sweetest girl on the planet that you could ever want to just be with. And for this movie, they kind of just throw that all in the trash and just make her be this rebellious teen who is very disappointed in her father and doesn't want anything to do with him until he gets his act together, even though the motherfucker literally helped to save the entire goddamn universe. And they try and use that as a joke in the movie, where Scott mentions how he helped save the universe, and they're like, we know, you've said it 1,000,000 times, but it's like, we as an audience don't get any kind of implication out of that he was being not at all humble braggy about it. And so, as a result, like, just interactions between characters felt like they were very unrealistic. Like, a lot of the issues were things where, just like general idiot plots, where if you guys legitimately just took 5 minutes to talk to each other, you could have resolved your issues, but no, we're gonna stay quiet to keep the conflict between each other. And also, I love how they just briefly gloss over the fact that Hank Pym and his wife, like, in the midst of times between each other, when they weren't with each other, Hank Pym, as well as his wife, because in this movie, when she was in the quantum realm, apparently there were people that were actually alive down there, like their own living beings and stuff. I love how they just very subtly bring up the fact that both of these characters, who were deeply in love with each other, and like, it was heavily implied throughout the first two movies that the two of these two characters desperately wanted to get back with each other. Apparently, in the 30 years they were apart, they both decided, I don't think I'll ever see them again. I'm just gonna go ahead and fling with whatever person I know here. And I'm like, okay, there went any and all characterization from the previous movies between these two. Whether you wanted to set up some sort of reigniting of romance, which they didn't even do that, or just reconnect their feelings after, especially with how Hank Pym's wife, how she was apparently gone for 30 years, maybe, you know, focus on the fact how she probably was gonna feel very separated from everyone, seeing how people might have changed, like seeing how Hank might have changed over the years. But no, we're just gonna instead make a joke about having a fling with another person while we were gone. And yeah, just something that I felt like they were not very up for trying to make legitimate, interesting conversations out of. Let's see, I think that we are coming up on the boss right up next. Yep. I do like how for the quote-unquote final galaxy in the game, it's supposed to be a rematch against Dino Piranha, but this time he's on fire. Makes it feel like the whole world of Mario Galaxy Ouroboros itself, I suppose. Which, I mean, granted, if you take what happens at the end of this game and apply it to what is supposedly the events of the second game, I guess that Mario did kind of Ouroboros the entire galaxies for Galaxy 2, I suppose. And this should be the last hit. Yep, there we go. Nice. Yeah, no, I have at least 5 right now. I'm assuming because of the Daredevil comet still. But no, I'm fine. I try and exact this soothing aura when I'm playing versus other content creators. And looks like we have the purple comet next. Alright. I guess to go into a little bit of background for just me deciding on streaming in general, because I already mentioned how this was me just trying to come up with a sort of fling idea, or on the Wii. So the original Mario Galaxy on the Wii, yes, but I think I've ended up doing this every single time when playing. I'm actually playing on the Switch. I'm playing the Mario 3D All-Stars. And I was just trying to find an excuse to actually get around to playing Galaxy again. And I kept on looking at my streaming going, well, I'm not really doing anything on here right now, so I really need to find something to do. And originally I was trying to play God of War, not Ragnarok, the newest one, but the one that came before it. Dad of Boy, as everyone likes to call it, which I just like using that name when I'm trying to differentiate between the two. But I originally was trying to live stream with that game, but I mean, you could probably tell when I was doing the stream at first. Oh, the Wii save menu? Okay, yeah. Yeah, no, this is the Switch version. But, I was trying to play God of War at first with live streams, and you can't find the videos now because I've deleted them, but if you were to have found a way to see these videos again, you could probably tell that my heart was not necessarily into it, especially seeing as how I was trying to do this whole thing of, oh, it's my first time playing the game, that'll be interesting. But, like, since I decided to play this instead for streaming, I've been playing God of War on the side, And I could tell with how I was playing that, yeah, this would not necessarily be the most enjoyable of things to watch, because I was dying left and right because I was not doing a good job understanding the gameplay. Because it's very different from how the previous God of War games were, where it's still, for the most part, a hack-and-slash type game, but it's a lot more centralized and focused in terms of its combat, and there's a lot more, like, exploration and stuff, and, like, puzzle solving, especially puzzle solving. I've been surprised by the amount of puzzles I've been trying to figure out. And I just felt that trying, like, from the perspective of a watcher, like, it can be neat to watch someone play something for the first time, and depending on the project that I have in mind for next after Mario Galaxy, I am thinking about doing a first-time run of another game, but it should be a lot better to handle. It can be interesting to see that kind of thing with whether it's a streamer or like a commentator or anything playing it for the first time, seeing how they go about things, but in this case, I just kept dying left and right, and I knew that that would be so frustrating for a lot of people to see for a new-time player. Which, granted, if there were any kind of comments of people being like, oh, you suck at this game, why are you so bad at this? I wasn't going to pay attention to any of it at all. Because, I mean, I'm playing this game just to have fun. If you want to get frustrated, you can get frustrated. I do not care. But I could tell that it just wasn't going to be an overall enjoyable experience between viewer and player. So I decided to just opt out with it and just go for a game that I knew would be a lot easier and I was familiar with. And so I just ended up choosing Galaxy, especially since I had not touched this game since, God, like what, 2009? Yeah, 2009, I think, when Mario Galaxy 2 had come out, I think. Because prior to that, I was playing this game all the time. But then Galaxy 2 came out, and whoa, I didn't realize I could jump that high off that thing. I don't know how that happened. But yeah, I haven't touched this game in like years, and I've been trying to find an excuse to go back and play it, and I thought a live stream was probably the best way to go about it. And let's see, with this we should, yep, have 100 coins. Nice. Now I just gotta make my way to the top without dying this time. I'm kind of curious what made me leap off that thing so hard compared to the long jump this time. Probably something to do with how it was like slowly... Like when you first land on it, there's like this initial quick dip, but then it just starts to slowly go down. Yeah, I can definitely say there is an enjoyment in seeing players who have no clue how to play the game trying to figure it out for the first time, because there's these group of guys that I watch on YouTube that they're playing, or well, not right now, but they have a few games that they've done where one person in that group has not played the game, but the other two have, and so they have the one play the game while the other two watch them play, and like might give them a little tip or pointer, and then you might see reactions out of the other two who have played the game. Just see them be like, "Why are you doing this? You should be doing this instead." But I know that I shouldn't be saying anything because this is your first time. And there's definitely an enjoyability out of that. I just don't want to make it be something that's going to end up being frustrating for both you, the watcher, and me, the player, because if I'm not having a good time trying to play this, then you're probably not going to have a good time watching it. But I will say, though, to talk about God of War a little more, though, since I have been playing that on the side. I have been, since I've decided not to stream it, I have been having a much more enjoyable time playing it. Now that I'm actually figuring out the controls and everything. As of right now, I'm actually... I actually just got past the point where I was able to get the Blades of Chaos again. From the previous games, which is a moment that I know a lot of people love. And, let's see, right after that was, I was able to get Atreus back. And since then, I've just been exploring around the areas, trying to get whatever things I missed. Mainly, I think right now, it is the hidden chambers. Because there's like this pick or like chisel you gotta get during the story, and you're supposed to use it to unlock the chambers, but the next time you immediately use it is when the plot demands that you go back home and get the Chaos Blades. And so I wanted to just go ahead and get those blades immediately, rather than trying to wait it out. And go ahead and do all the other chambers. Especially because I think most of the chambers are the Valkyrie fights. Not all of them, because the most recent one I did, I thought was going to be a Valkyrie fight, but I think it's implying from a journal entry that this is going to be like a boss that you're going to be facing in another side quest, potentially. But yeah, since I've been playing it on the side, I've been finding myself enjoying it a lot more than if I were trying to do a live stream for it. And I'm just glad for that. But now, here we are in the technically last galaxy. Prior to the end, I know that I still have a Hungry Luma that I haven't done. That's outside the garden, but this is basically the last galaxy, like last big galaxy anyways. Deep Dark Galaxy, which, oddly enough, a lot of people say they are not a fan of being one of the last galaxies in the game. They're just not a general fan of it. And I gotta say that, unfortunately, that brings me down a lot, because this galaxy, no joke, is like one of my favorite galaxies in the entire game. And it sucks to hear so many people say that they don't like it at all. Like, I get that the environment for Deep Dark Galaxy is very dark and dank, and the music especially is supposed to be giving off this ominous vibe. But I don't know what it is. I talked about it in an earlier stream, but I have this like deep attachment to anything that's related to water in terms of an environment. Like this area right here, just to momentarily give an idea. Real quick, I'm going to try and get rid of this boo, and hopefully I can zoom the camera out. Like, this area is not a lot of detail, granted, but I look at this area, and I think of scenes like in the movie The Goonies, where the kids discover the ship for the first time in that hidden cove. And I'm like, that is so cool! Why are people dissing on this galaxy? This is so cool. I love any kind of water theme, especially in this case where it's a hidden alcove type of thing. That's like, an area like this is somewhere I would just love to just discover in real life. And to give an idea of that, actually, there was a time for my post-high school graduation, my parents celebrated by taking me and the rest of the family to go to Cancun and Cozumel down in Mexico. And one of the things that we did was we went on this cenote expedition type thing, where we were brought out into like really deep areas of Cancun. Like you'd have to actively search for these areas. And they showed us these cenotes, which are, if you don't know what that is, these are basically like rivers that are more inlet connected, but eventually will, not all the time, but will find a way out into the ocean. And we ended up doing 5 of these on this particular expedition. And I gotta say, I absolutely loved every single second of it. Like, I unfortunately can't recall what the first couple were like, but there was this one where, just like this particular area right here, it was kind of like a centralized, not necessarily a lake. It was almost like a isolated, there's like an island right in the middle of it, surrounded by water, with walls completely surrounding the area, like 50 feet high practically. And just seeing that was an incredible sight to behold. Just something that you have to really go out of your way to be able to find something like that. It was so great. But my absolute favorite one out of the entire thing, well, before I go to that one, I'll actually talk about the one that came after it, which was a really fun one as well, where, oh boy, we got the purple comets. Alright, so this will give me time to talk about it. But, the last one was kind of like a larger sized, almost like a small lake almost. Surrounded by all kinds of shrubbery and stuff. And what was really nice about this one was there was actually a zip line connecting from one end of the lake to the other end, which was really cool. So we got to ride through that. But on the other end, there was this cliff, essentially, that was like a good, God, looking at it from the top felt like it was 50 feet, but in reality it was probably like a good maybe 20 feet at most. And we just kept on, like everybody that was a part of that expedition, we kept on jumping off the edge of that cliff down into the water, and it was such a thrill. And at this point of the day, it was sunset, so you were able to see the sun setting behind all the trees and shrubbery. And it was just a gorgeous sight to behold, honestly. And there's actually a really funny story in regards to the whole jumping off the cliff thing, with my mom in particular. So we all had to wear life vests for this as a means of safety, which is completely understandable. But when we were jumping off the cliff into the water, like, it's definitely very, very high. Like, if you're standing up there and you're looking down, it feels like you're gonna be sinking down so hard. But when it came around to my mom's turn, for the first time doing it, we actually have a recording of it on my dad's phone, I think. And you could tell when we were doing like a countdown for her to go in, that she was completely nervous. Like, she didn't know if she wanted to jump in or not. But, the funniest thing that came out of that moment was during the countdown, the guide was standing right next to her, and he saw that her vest wasn't completely latched on properly. So, right before the end of the countdown, like, it was 3, 2, and before saying 1, he just ended up reaching for my mom's vest, and she started to panic. She started freaking the fuck out, thinking that this guide was about to pull her into the water, and she started like screaming, slapping his hand away, and it was hilarious to see. We were all dying laughing in that moment. It was so great. Man, I really wish that I had that video. But yeah, it was just one of the funniest things to happen. But, to go back into the cenote itself, though, this particular big lake one, like, it was really nice. I would say that out of all of them for the day, it was probably my second favorite, with the island one being my third favorite. But the fourth one out of all 5 that we did, sounds stressful but hilarious. Yeah, that's basically what she was feeling like. But out of the 5 that we did, the fourth one was the one that blew me away. And I'll start off by prefacing it with this. When we were doing it, the one prior to it was the one with the island, and we were really enjoying that one, even though we were just simply swimming around the island itself. I don't think we were allowed to go on the island for some reason, but while we were talking about it, we saw the entrance for what was supposed to be the next one. And at first, we were kind of confused, and we were kind of expecting disappointment going in, because the entrance to this particular one was just a huge hole in the ground. Just this massive hole in the ground, like a good 20 by 30 feet, or like 20 to 30 feet wide. And you couldn't see anything going in. Like, we had to be tied to a harness and be lowered in, just like how the zipline was for the last one, but much more slowly. Monster Hunter, the cenote reminds me of a cave in the desert map of Generations. I've played Generations. I'm trying to recall what the desert map looks like. Was that the desert map that was used from, what was it? From Monster Hunter 4? Because it's actually been a while, unfortunately, since I played that game. I would love to try and go play that game again. But, if there's a cenote sort of thing like that, then, yeah, you could probably use it as a sense of comparison. But, going back to this particular one, like, yeah, it was a giant hole in the ground. I don't think you could even see the water. It went that deep. But, as we were getting lowered down, we were, like, every single one of us, like my mom, dad, sister, and I, when we were getting lowered down one at a time, we were all just going, this doesn't seem all that impressive, really. Like, this... Like, we could only see, like, as a visual example, I guess, in-game right here, the most we could see going in was a beam of light that was pointing towards the wall, so, like, right here. Like, this is basically what it looked like right here, for the most part. Just light against a wall. Nothing too impressive, really. But then, like, to give another visual example, like, we get down to the platform, and we're right here, just going like, oh, it's a bunch of rocks. But then, we turn around, and you just get to... Obviously, there wasn't a ship in this cove, but you turn around, and you see where you came from, and you see the light reflecting off the walls. And it was the most gorgeous thing that I'd ever seen in my life. You could see, like, for these, you have the stalactites here hanging down. There were those things all over the place in that cave. Or cove, I guess. And, like, just seeing the light reflecting off it, you got to... The water was so bright blue, like, it was practically radiating blue. Like, reflecting off your skin, off the rocks themselves. It was gorgeous. And, like, like, I couldn't believe how seconds before I was going, oh, this seems like it's going to be disappointing, because as soon as I turned around, it was, like, to this day, today, it is still one of the most beautiful things that I've ever witnessed in my life. And I would die. Like, I would kill to see something like that just one more time in my life. And it's as a result, like tying this back to Galaxy, it's as a result, that is one of the many, many reasons why I love any kind of underwater setting, or just a setting in video games that features water. Because there's always something beautiful that can be tied to it. And I know there's one game in particular that I really need to play. Like, I have been holding off on it just because I guess I'm kind of like waiting for the right time, I suppose. But there's that one game that is, I think it's made by the same developers who made the game Journey, where it's you're playing as a character going through the desert, and it's supposed to be like a visual story type game, where like the art is supposed to be what sells you on the game. There's the other game that I'm pretty sure was made by them called Abzu, which is basically Journey but underwater. And I've seen trailers and gameplay for that game, and I'm like, this is the game for me. Like, this is strictly made for me. Like, it felt like it was made for me, basically. And I've been holding off on it, playing it, because I feel like I'm waiting for the right time to play it. But, yeah, I mean, that, like, in general, that's basically why I love games that feature a setting like this, like Deep Dark Galaxy, where, like, even though, yeah, it has this ominous kind of music, yeah, it's got a darker vibe to it compared to the rest of the things, the general setting of it is just so amusing to me that it cancels out any kind of negative vibes that there could possibly be. Especially when you have a song like this playing that's a lot more goofy compared to how it was. This is actually a pretty fun little fight, because it's actually different from... Like, you can still jump on them, I'm pretty sure. In fact, I'm going to try it right here. And, yeah, you can still ground pound them. But, this one's interesting compared to the other turret missions, where you can actually get a coconut, and, assuming that I can dodge all these, you can hit the coconut towards them and shatter the glass. It's a fun little variation. I wish that when it came to the other variations of this boss, that they were more unique in that regard. Like, even in an area like this, just to go back to the whole beauty and water topic, I suppose. Like, just an area like this, where it's just this reserved beach side, where you have this whole area that you just see all of these... Like, there's the beach itself, there's the water around it, and, like, you get this beautiful sight up into the sky. And then you can turn around, and you see there's this cave. You don't know where it leads until you go in. It really ties back into that sense of adventure that you have as a kid, where you just want to explore and find what else is out there in the world. I love it. I love shit like this to death. Ugh. And actually, the music that's playing right now sounds a lot more peaceful compared to the first song that was playing for Deep Dark Galaxy. Gives off a better vibe for how I feel for this galaxy. Now, I don't remember what's in this chest. Oh, okay, a 1-up. I had a feeling it was probably going to be something like that. You don't actually have to go in the water here in this section of the galaxy ever for any of the missions. It's literally just here for visual appeal and like that 1-up. That's literally it. I'm about to die here just trying to get a 1-up. There we go. But yeah, like there's no point to it. It doesn't tie to any of the missions. It's just something to enjoy. Add to the atmosphere. Now I'm about to die here if I don't take care of all these enemies in time, though. So I need to be careful. Alright, I think we're safe. So I can get the fire flower, and we can go back to the other galaxy. Or the other planet, I should say. Now, I can understand, as a minor point of contention for Deep Dark Galaxy, I can understand where people are coming from with the fact that this galaxy, I think all 3 times that you're playing each of the missions, you have to do literally the exact same thing, where you start on this beach, and then you have to go up to that planet to get the fire flower, and then come back down and light those torches to get to this area. And in this case, we need it to get the ice flower. So I can, for the most part, understand why people are not exactly the biggest of fans for this galaxy, just because of the repetitiveness at the start. And what is the point of this thing right here? I want to say that there's a side mission tied to it later on. It's a neat little thing, though. Looks like a random magic box, like, is just here. Like, what is it? No clue. But, let's see. Where do we have to go next? Got some star bits right here. And then I think we can head this way. And... okay, so this part right here, I do not get the point of this. I do not get the point of this platform with that coin. All it does is just transform the platform into a whole bunch of these sling stars. And each sling star, aside from the center one, just sends you back to the one in the middle. So it's like, what was the point of that? It's very... it feels kind of shoehorned in a way. But whatever. Gotta be careful around this Magikoopa. Now, I think that this particular mission... yeah, I think it's the one that we're gonna be doing. Actually, this is really interesting. This is the only time in Galaxy 1, I'm pretty sure. Because I'm trying to think of it. I can't think of any other times. I'm pretty sure this is the only time in Galaxy 1 where we ever see the Cheep Cheeps. And they're not even in the water. They're just bouncing around on this one island. Like, there's... I'm pretty sure this is the only time we ever see them. And, like, it's only those 3. It's very odd. But yeah, to continue with the oddness... hold up, wait, what? I can talk with you from here? I did not know I could talk to that toad from here. I never knew. As a kid, I always just saw him sitting there, and I was like, okay, he's just decoration. But no, you can actually talk to him, and he tells you the solution for this, where you're supposed to ground pound these tennis balls, which, for some reason, whenever you ground pound one, causes this watermelon in the center to expand. Like, what? It makes no sense whatsoever. I do not know if this is supposed to be an inspiration to something with, like, Japan. Now the Cheep Cheeps are extinct. Yep, they're all dead now because of me. No, don't worry. We have the Luigi run. They'll come back eventually. Now, if I can actually get to this tennis ball without dying. Alright, let me see if I can actually cut it off. There we go. I don't care if I'm down to my last bit of life, as long as I can get the star before I die. Whew. That was a bit close. Yeah, it just turns into a huge watermelon and just shatters the glass. It's weird. Yeah, sorry about that. I was taking a sip of water. Alright, let's see. We got the Daredevil Comet this time, and if I recall, this Daredevil Comet is a battle against the Cammy Koopa again. Except they don't call her Cammy in this one, in this game for some reason. She's, what was it, Camilla? You know, rather than... Okay, it was nice being able to talk with you two. Glad you're able to join in on this. And real quick, by the way, before you do go, if you're still here, and this goes to anyone and everyone else, if you want to see any of my previous streams, they're not on Twitch anymore, but I do have a YouTube account by the name of Lorenzo's Game Lounge as well. And I'm going to be trying my best to upload any of the... Oh, this is your first time hearing my voice as well? Oh, well, hope you enjoy the voice. I hope it's soothing. But, yeah, you can go to my YouTube channel, Lorenzo's Game Lounge, and you can see all the previous live stream sessions there if you want to catch up on any. Alright, but yeah. Hope you have a good rest of your day, play stuff. Now, one of the things I know I should be trying to do is, because I did this on my laptop when I was trying to do the God of War streams, I know I should have done it for this before trying to do the live streams for Galaxy. Granted, though, there weren't many people here talking to me at all. Like, there literally hasn't been any until just now. But, I really should be trying to integrate the chat into the stream itself, where you can see it on the screen next to the gameplay. Like, that's literally what the purpose of all that empty space on the right-hand side is supposed to be for. It's supposed to be so that anyone can actually read the comments without having to go, like, to stream chat itself. And that way people can understand what kind of comments I'm looking at. I've just been lazy about it, though. Maybe after this stream I'll try and set it up. It wasn't too hard. I know that it was pretty easy to do. I just need to actually do it. Now, this particular battle actually is kind of rough. Now, I can't believe I missed that shell there. But this particular boss battle against Camilla, compared to, like, Bouldergeist, it's actually pretty tough if you let things get out of control. Because if you don't take care of those two Magikoopas before taking out Cammy herself, then there's going to be a lot of fireballs that you got to dodge. And that can be pretty troublesome. Like, you're going to be seeing practically, like, what, 7 fireballs on screen, and it's going to be stressful. Thankfully, though, I didn't die. I didn't get hit by a single thing, which is surprising considering how throughout the rest of this stream so far I've been getting hit by a lot of stuff. But let's see. I want to say that with this, we only have 3 stars left. We have the main mission here. We have another side mission. And then we have the Hungry Luma right outside here. So I think that just to keep in line with the Deep Dark Galaxy being the last galaxy I do, I'm going to go ahead and do the Hungry Luma right here. And if this is the Luma that I'm thinking of, this is... this final galaxy for Hungry Lumas, it's okay. I don't think it's necessarily the best thing, but it's definitely not the worst either. Granted, like, even though I have my personal dislikes for certain galaxies, not to say that I think they're bad, I don't think there is a single bad galaxy in Super Mario Galaxy, period. And I want to, for the most part, say that for Galaxy 1 and Galaxy 2. It's been a while since I've touched 2 as well. So I don't quite remember all the galaxies in that one, but I do recall just having a generally good opinion about Galaxy 2, where for a time, I legitimately thought of Galaxy 2 as better than Galaxy 1. Wait a minute. Hang on. I need to... Oh my god. Look at the reflection of Mario. You can't see it here. Look at the reflection of Mario in the glass. He doesn't have pupils. Why doesn't he have pupils? Oh my god, that is freaky. That is creepypasta level shit. What the fuck? Why doesn't he have his pupils? Like, usually when it comes to reflection textures, like, usually it's just the, like, in a case like this, usually it's just the model reflected, and the animations are just repeating. And, like, look, even with this spin animation, you're not seeing the Luma or the glowy ring effect that happens. Like, you don't see that on the reflection here. You just see this horrifying shell of a Mario. Good God. that was... I can't believe I never noticed that before. That was some terrifying shit. Anyways, though, to actually go back into this particular galaxy mission, this one's a fine one. It's another case of hunt down the bunnies, just like in the very beginning of the game, as well as for Gusty Garden. And it's not a hard challenge at all, even though there is a time limit. The thing that you need to be prioritizing is, first off, trying to uncover any and all snow with your pointer, because there is one particular area where when you uncover the hole, one of the rabbits is hiding in one of these holes. And it looks like I've already missed it, so I need to go back around and find it. There it is. But yeah, you want to uncover one of the holes, and then you'll find your first rabbit. I'm actually going to hold off on catching him, because I need to be going about this the smart way, where once you hit all the switches, you'll unlock both ends of this pill planet, and you'll get the fire flower, which will allow you to go ahead and take out these mushrooms, all the snowmen, and that's where you're going to find one of the other rabbits. But then the last one, you need to destroy this snowman and get this shell here, and then destroy this, or open up this chest. And that's all the 3 of the rabbits. And the other reason that you want to go ahead and open up the holes is you want to lure the rabbits into the holes themselves. Like, they will... Okay, make a liar out of me, you motherfucker. Okay, fine. You want to lure the rabbits into the holes themselves, because then once they're in the holes, like right now, they're very easy to catch. There's no way for them to escape. And just like that, mission over. Easy peasy. And with this, we are now at star number 118. We only have 2 stars left. And both of those are in, my personal opinion, in my favorite galaxy. So I would say let's go ahead and bring things to a close. Let's go ahead and see things finished. Of course, though, we still need to face Bowser, though. Like, I'm saying as if I'm going to stop the game immediately after getting the 120 stars. No, I still need to face Bowser, because otherwise I'm not going to unlock Luigi, and then we're not going to be able to do the other half of this 100% run. But yeah, let's go ahead and head on into the garden for our last time. For this particular run anyways, with Mario. And we'll take care of Deep Dark Galaxy. And this particular mission actually has two things going for it. It is, first off, where we get our secret mission. And it's also, I think, actually, to completely scratch the statement that I made earlier, this is actually the one mission where we don't have to go to that planet over there. Which actually sucks because I just remembered there's another planet up there that I never bothered to show off. I can't believe I somehow forgot to show it off. Which is crazy because I was looking at it so many times before. But, I guess I'm going to have to save that for the Luigi run because the secret mission here doesn't take me to that planet either. What you're supposed to do is take this cannon, but it's no longer operational. You're supposed to take the cannon, and rather than aim for this planet, you're supposed to aim for that one behind the palm tree. And I guess I just wasn't paying attention to it. Well, fuck. Guess we're saving that for Luigi then. But now for this last mission, we are going to be going to the final area that we have not explored in Deep Dark Galaxy. And that is the very bottom of this cove. Because last time we had to go to the side cove over here to go down to the ship straight out of the Goonies. And, yeah, this time it's blocked off by rocks, so there's no way to get around it without potentially glitching through. Which I'm sure there's a way. I'm sure there is. Ow. But, for this particular one, we have to go down to the bottom here. And we're back to this dire, sort of eerie, creepy sounding music. Making this place sound a lot more, or feel a lot more scary. Okay, no, I was wrong. We do have more Cheep Cheeps. We got one right here. I guess I was wrong. I guess I was just thinking about a different Cheep Cheep, I guess I just wasn't thinking about other times that we see Cheep Cheep. So, that will, I guess that Cheep Cheep will act as the one who brings back the rest of the Cheep Cheeps. Even though there's no girl Cheep Cheep or boy Cheep Cheep. I don't know what gender it is. I can't tell. It's not Pokemon. There's no Pokedex for it. But, oh god, get out of here! But that will be the one, somehow, miraculously, asexual reproduction or something, I don't know. That will be the one that brings about the repopulation of the Cheep Cheeps. But here we are now with this mission. This is the side mission. This isn't actually the main mission. This particular one is... It's weird in the sense of, like... It's very simple. It's very simple. Because what you're doing here is you're just going in this big circle. Like this big, complicated circle that's forcing you to just hit that light fixture. And then just lure the boo here over to the light. And that's it. That's literally the mission. Like, as soon as the boo will come over here. Like, that's it. That was it. It's very odd. But I guess that's the charm to Deep Dark Galaxy, I guess, where a lot of the missions are odd. Well, most of them anyways. Because there was the Kamikoopa one, which was just the boss fight. That was normal. But then there was the second one, which was having to go to Melon Planet. Or Planet Melon, I guess. I don't know. And then having to smash tennis balls into it to make it explode. And then this mission that we just did. But now with that, we are going to go ahead and take care of the very final mission in Super Mario Galaxy 100% as Mario. Because, again, like I mentioned in previous streams, I am going to be doing a second run as Luigi. Because I've never 100%ed the game before as Mario. And if I'm going to be rewarded with Luigi, then you bet your ass I'm going to want to play as Luigi. And there are quite a number of differences when you're playing as Luigi that'll definitely make things a little more interesting in terms of just overall difference. I know that most missions, or not most missions, I know that Luigi himself, control-wise, he's faster than Mario, and I believe he jumps higher as well. But there's also the fact that he, as a result of being able to go faster, he also has slippery feet, making him more likely to slip off edges and die. And I do believe that a handful of challenges with Luigi, like the Cosmic clones, I believe, are made more challenging with Luigi. Like the Luigi clone will actually take more shortcuts compared to the Mario one. And I want to say that, yeah, for the underwater stuff as Luigi, like you see me spinning left and right as Mario. You can't necessarily do that with Luigi, at least not too much anyways, because his whole thing is that if you do, and I just missed the dash ring there, but his whole thing is that if you do spin underwater, you'll actually lose your air faster. Like, you'll lose maybe a 10th or 12th of it each spin. And, like, that doesn't sound like much, but keep in mind how often you're spinning. Like, it adds up. It very much adds up. Now, come on, Mario. Get through the last ring. There you go. For a second, I've never messed up this mission, so I don't know what happens if you don't go through that last ring in time, if there even is a time limit for it. Alright, I'm a fish of my word. Take this. Yeah, you bet. Oh! Okay, that's one way to collect the last star in the game, I guess. Dang, Guppy. I guess you wanted to go out like a little punk bitch. Wanted to get one last pot shot in before seeing me go. That was pretty good. But alright. That was it. That was our final star out of the 120 stars for Mario. So now, with this, we can go ahead and head to the center of the universe one last time and take care of things. Now, unfortunately, we don't get to see the cutscene of going to the center of the galaxy again, or the center of the universe, I should say. So that is kind of a shame, because I really do like seeing that cutscene. Actually, no. No. There's one last thing that we need to do. One very last thing that I have been neglecting this entire time, and I am ashamed that I forgot about it until just now. So, real quick before I do that, I'm going to get a sip of water, because this is going to be very important for what happens. Yeah. Sorry if you just heard that burp as soon as I turned the mic back on. But I completely forgot about the library.
Let us begin.
Chapter 1. The Celestial Duo. Our story begins a very, very long time ago with a young girl. One day, this girl spotted a rusted spaceship holding a small star child. "What's your name? Are you lost?" the girl asked the star child. "I'm Luma, and I'm waiting for Mama. She's coming for me on a comet," said the star child, who had been waiting day and night. "Don't worry. I'll wait with you," the little girl promised Luma. At nightfall, the little girl borrowed her father's telescope and peered into the sky. She looked and looked, but she saw nothing. Hours turned into days, and then years, but still the sky revealed nothing. Finally, the little girl sighed and said to Luma, "If we stay here looking much longer, I'll be an old lady soon." But then she had an idea. "Why don't we go out there and find your mother ourselves?" The girl and Luma fixed up the rusty spaceship, and then the two set sail into the starry sky. And this is how the search for the celestial mother began. Chapter 2. Starbits. Days passed with no sight of the comet, or even a single planet. Instead, asteroids extended for as far as the eye could see. "If I had known it was going to take this long, I would have packed more jam," said the little girl above the rumble of her belly. Before they left, she had packed all the essentials: telescope, butterfly net, stuffed bunny, bread, milk, jam, and apricot-flavored tea, but "I forgot to bring water." At this, Luma burst into gales of laughter, and the girl began to pout. "As long as I have starbits, I'll be fine," said Luma. "Want some?" The little girl couldn't stay mad after hearing this. Luma continued to laugh, and the girl couldn't help but join in. "All right, maybe just a nibble." Leaning far out of the ship, the pair began to collect starbits with the girl's net. They almost fell out a few times, but they kept on collecting. The starbits tasted like honey. Chapter 3. The Comet. A beam of light pierced through the ship's window. Thinking it was the morning sun, the girl peered through the window, only to find a turquoise-blue comet shimmering at her. The little girl shook the sleeping Luma awake and shouted excitedly, "We have to get to the comet!" The pair descended on the comet and found that it was made of ice. They looked high and low, but Luma's mother was nowhere to be found. Exhausted, the little girl sat down with a flop, utterly unable to take another step. "Look!" Peering down at the icy ground where Luma was pointing, the girl suddenly noticed clusters of starbits encased in the ice. "Pretty good, huh? Finding starbits is my specialty," said Luma, beaming. "There's ice here, but it's so warm. I'll bet there's water here, too." The two decided to stay on the comet for a while. Riding the turquoise comet, the pair continued their search for Luma's mother. Chapter 4. The Dream. One night, the girl dreamed about her own mother. "Where are you going?" she asked her mother's retreating back. Without turning, her mother replied, "Don't fret, dearest. I'm not going anywhere. I'm always watching over you, like the sun in the day and the moon in the night." A wave of sadness washed over the girl. "What about when it rains and I can't see the sun or the moon?" Her mother thought for a moment before responding. "I will turn into a star in the clouds and wait for your tears to dry." When she awoke, the girl's face was damp with tears. "You have starbits in your eyes," said Luma to the girl. Wiping her face, the girl replied, "These are tears, not starbits. I'm crying because I'll never see my mother ever again." At this, Luma began to cry too. "Mama! Oh, Mama!" The pair traveled through the starry skies. and though they encountered many other comets, not one of them held Luma's mother. Luma was despondent. Now, Luma, the rain clouds won't go away if you keep crying," the girl said, giving Luma a squeeze. "I'll give you a present if you stop." The girl closed her eyes and said gently, "I'll take care of you." With these words, she felt a small spark in her heart. Chapter 5. Home. "The kitchen will go here, and the library will go over there," the girl said busily to herself. "We'll put the gate here." Ever since the girl took Luma under her care, she'd been bustling about at a feverish pace. It's a lot of work, but it's worth it to make a happy home. It turned out that star bits weren't the only things buried in the ice. There were tools and furniture unlike any they had ever seen, and the girl used them to build a home. Looking at the completed house, Luma remarked, "Don't you think it's awfully big for just the two of us? With a library, bedroom, kitchen, fountain, and gate, it was certainly spacious, but still, something seemed to be missing." "If only my father, brother, and mother were here," the girl said wistfully. Indeed, the house was too large for its two small residents. That night, clutching her favorite stuffed bunny close to her heart, the girl fell asleep in the starship. Chapter 6. Friends. Then one day, while the girl sat sipping tea, a tiny apricot-colored planet appeared on the horizon. From the planet, another Luma of the same color emerged. "Do you two know each other?" the girl asked the two Lumas gleefully. Despite the girl's excitement, they seemed uneasy. The two Lumas neither drew closer nor backed away from each other. Instead, they just stared. Then one Luma broke the silence. "My mama!" At once, the apricot Luma parroted back, "My mama! My mama! My mama! My mama!" The two Lumas began to dance around the girl frantically, and neither showed any sign of stopping. The girl was so charmed by this adorable scene that she couldn't help but laugh. And that's when something very strange happened. Suddenly, more Lumas began to pop out from the apricot planet. They were different colors, but they all shouted the same thing. "My mama! My mama!" The sight of all the shouting Lumas only made the girl laugh harder. "What am I going to do with all these children?" The Lumas just stared blankly as she doubled over laughing. "I guess we'll have to name each and every one of you." Tomorrow, once she had finished naming them all, she would begin moving all the Lumas into the new house. Chapter 7. The Telescope. After seeing their 100th comet, a sudden thought popped into the girl's head. "I wonder if my home planet is still as blue as it was." That's when she remembered her father's telescope. Peeking into this telescope, a tiny blue dot floated into sight. It was smaller than a star bit. How strange. It's so far away, but it feels so close. She twisted the knob of the telescope, and the blue dot grew until she could make out a grassy hill dotted with flowers. It seemed very familiar to her. Zooming even closer, a terrace on the hill came into view. I used to go stargazing there when I lived on my home planet. She remembered rubbing the sleep out of her eyes as she followed her father up that hill to look at the stars. She remembered how she and her brother would sled down that hill. She remembered having picnics with her mother on that hill on bright and windy days. And I want to go home. I want to go home right now. The girl burst into tears, and the Lumas didn't know what to do. I want to go home. I want to go back to my house by the hill. I want to see my mother. The girl was shouting now, her face wet with tears. But I know she's not there. I knew all along that she wasn't out there in the sky. Because she's sleeping under the tree on the hill. The girl's cries echoed through the stars, and a hush fell over the area. Chapter 8. The Wish. Though usually quite cheery, one day the girl became sad again. Luma drew close and tried to comfort her. "Mama, you still have me. And don't be sad about your mama, because she's a part of you. That means she'll always be close by. It's like me. I love Starbits because they remind me of my mama." No, the girl said, unable to stop the tears. A lonely look flickered across Luma's face, but it was soon replaced by a wide grin. "I have an idea. I'll transform into a comet, a soaring comet that can carry you all on this journey." With that, Luma, trailing bands of white, soared high into the sky, and just as quickly started to plummet back down. Kaboom! Kablam! The ground shook, and a bright light poured out of the crater that the Luma had created. The bands of light twisted together to form a comet tail. And then Luma emerged, reborn as a comet. The girl could scarcely believe her eyes. But how? She kept asking. "Our destiny as Lumas is to transform into different things," said a red Luma who had suddenly appeared. "Stars, comets, planets. We can become all of these things. When I grow up, I want to become a star that makes someone special smile," said a green Luma. A blue Lima chimed in. "Luma. That Luma turned into a real cutie of a comet, didn't he?" All of the Lumas together said, "No more crying, Mama." "Thank you," said the girl in a whisper, and she pulled the Lumas close and hugged them. From that day on, starbits no longer fell from the girl's eyes. The comet set forth for the girl's home planet, its long tail blazing proudly behind it. Final chapter. Family. With its many lumas and telescopes, the comet was quite a sight to behold. The girl and the lumas were proud to call it home. At a welcoming party for a new luma, the girl gathered everyone in the kitchen and said in a louder voice than usual, "All right, everyone, let's make a cake sprinkled with star bits. Then it will be a star cake." The lumas excitedly began to gather the ingredients. As she watched the lumas scurry about, the girl smiled and thought to herself, "This is my family now, and I will stay with them until they're ready to leave the nest. And when they do leave, I'll see them off with a smile." because that's what makes a mother happiest. That night, when the girl lay down to sleep, a soft light enveloped her and reminded her of the blue planet she once called home. But it would be nice to return home once every 100 years to nap in my favorite sleeping nook. The comet, carrying the Lumas and the girl, continues on its journey to this very day, with more family members in tow that can be counted. It's said that the comet visits the girl's home planet once every 100 years, its proud white tail glittering in the sky. The end.
That's all.
And with that, that was the library. An area that is a completely optional area to Mario Galaxy, but it's one that, just as with everything else, brings a form of wholeness to the rest of this game. It makes it feel much more connected in every way. And it's pretty much the one and only time, I think, as far as I can think, where we actually had a character in the Mario universe actually have a legitimate backstory and character, with it being Rosalina. And, I mean, when it comes to something like that, I find it pretty obvious why a lot of people think of Rosalina as their favorite Mario character, mine included. I mean, she's the one who, despite, yes, the other Mario characters having a personality, Mario being a gleeful little man, Luigi being a mixture of a scaredy cat, but also being this brave hero who will do what has to be done, whether it's for his brother or for anyone else. And then characters like Wario, who his main thing is he stirs up trouble, throws people into the abyss, leaving them no hope to return back. Okay, maybe not that far, but based on what I saw there, it just made me think that. But no, Wario, like, his whole character is basically just the greedy mischief maker, and Waluigi is basically his friend and pal. Sort of, I guess, maybe. I don't know. But then, like, Princess Peach, she doesn't get that much character in the main title games, specifically. In the RPG games, they do definitely give her much more of a personality. And, I would say it's kind of back and forth, depending on which game you're playing with her, where you can see the real aspects of her personality. She's the kind of person who tries to stay reserved with her own feelings for the sake of caring for everyone else's feelings. It's like in the whole five-man band thing. She's kind of, in the sense of an RPG anyway, she's kind of the heart, or the, whatever you want to call it. I'm just going to say the heart, because that's the term that I've heard overly simplified productions use, and I feel that's a very good term that applies to her. But yeah, she's basically the heart, and she has, like, she does have a sassy personality to her when you really start to get her going. But overall, like, outside of the RPG games, she doesn't get that much personality, unfortunately. Now, Daisy, though, like, everyone loves Daisy because she's basically what Peach isn't in terms of the outside games. She's full of personality. She's very, very sassy. Like, she's got all kinds of personality. A lot of people actually love to give her tomboy traits, which I am not at all against. Love me a tomboy type girl. But, yeah. Pretty much, like, there's a reason why, in terms of the main title Mario games, Rosalina is one of the favored characters. But I think that's enough going into the Mario characters themselves. We have all 120 stars, and it's time for us to go ahead and bring things to an end for once. For the first time, I should say. For our 100% run with Mario. I honestly love the music for this final galaxy. It's so good. It really does feel like it's the final, just the final trek to the last fight. And even though, like, boss fight wise, Bowser is very simple, very easy to do, the entire level itself and the lead up to Bowser himself is so good, especially this moment right here. Like, just listen. Well, when we're ignoring Bowser Jr. coming on screen with his music. Which, granted, I don't dislike Bowser Jr.'s music, but then what happens right here? You see the final staircase leading up to Bowser. Bowser Jr. tries to give one last fight. But knowing Mario with his acrobatics, there's no way he could ever hope to try and take him down. And then we meet at the top. And the music here, oh my gosh. God, this is such a good moment in Galaxy 1. Every time I play this game, when I was playing this game as a kid, I should say, I would always try my damnedest to get to the end of the game as fast as I possibly could, with as few stars as I needed. And I would do it just to reach this ending as fast as possible, just to see it all over again with a fresh start. Because again, like I mentioned earlier, when you're doing this mission on repeats, you end up not being able to see the cutscene with Rosalina again, unfortunately. And I don't know if there's a way to be able to watch it again outside of just starting up a new file. And it's a real shame, because that whole sequence with Rosalina is just so good. I love this, though. I didn't bother to do this in the last time fighting Bowser, but you can actually very quickly get him into the phase where he's spinning without having to wait for him to get into this form. Like, you actually don't have to wait for him to be in this form. You can just spin into this thing right here, and then he'll just immediately start spinning. But with that, we're down to our last phase, and the final battle music. An incredible song. I don't want to stay quiet for too long, because I imagine that Nintendo, even though this is streaming of a game rather than like actual copyrighted music, this shouldn't, I would hope not to end up getting Nintendo on my case about playing music illegally. But this song, like, legitimately, I will have to say, because I've thought about it plenty of times before, I think that this particular final boss music with Bowser has to be my absolute favorite final boss theme. Like, specifically final boss theme. Because I know that for Mario Odyssey, there's the sequence after fighting Bowser, where you get to play as Bowser. And the music that plays during that whole sequence, especially Break Free, when you're trying to escape the moon at the very last bit, God, I love that song to death. People talk about Jump Up Superstar all they want. It's a great song, don't get me wrong. I love that song to death too. But nobody ever gives Break Free the credit that it deserves. It is so good. But no. When it comes to final boss music, I think that this particular rendition is the best thing that they've ever done. And to actually give credit to a YouTuber who goes out of their way to try and make lyrics with video game music. Not Brintlefloss, but Man on the Internet, I believe is the name of the YouTube channel. He goes out of his way to actually try and make lyrics for video game songs. And he's done a handful of them, a lot of them with Mario, but the ones that I most recognize that he's done is the Koopa Road music for 64, which that one's really good. I would definitely recommend listening to that one. But the lyrics that he does for the final boss music against Bowser in this game, like, it really emphasizes how it feels like it is basically the final battle that Mario and Bowser will ever have against each other. It is legitimately a really good song. And I would really recommend anybody go and look up that channel. But with that, we're done. Like, we're done now. With Mario, anyways. We have... well, I have, I guess. Finally, for the first time in my life, 100%ed Mario Galaxy. As Mario, anyways. I see that Bowser's model is not actually attached to the ground there. I see that the ground is shaking separately from Bowser himself. Wonderful little thing there. But, no. Yeah, this is my first time ever 100%ing the game. Because, way back when, literally there was only the one star. The one star that I never collected as a kid. Whether it was repeat playthroughs or anything, I never got the one star that was relatively close to the beginning of the game. Battle Rock Galaxy, the trash mission. The trash mission, excuse me. Which is funny, because I did it in this one in 2 tries. And then the Dreadnought version is the one that gave me more shit. Granted, it only took me, like, what, 5 tries, I think? But yeah, the galaxies that, or the missions that are basically considered some of the hardest things in Galaxy 1, I was able to take care of actually pretty quickly now, which is pretty funny. Now, granted, I'm an adult now, so things are definitely going to be different. Like, I'm going to know how to do things better than I was as a kid, because, when this game came out in 2007. I probably didn't play it until the year after, 2008, because I didn't know about the Wii being a thing at the time. So I probably wasn't any older than 10, maybe 11 when this game came out. And, like, as a kid, most things are still going to be fairly challenging. But, like, as an adult, doing all this now, granted, I've still seen plenty of adults older than me, younger than me, because I'm 24 now, but I've seen plenty of people my age, older, who have played games all their lives. They've struggled with those missions as well, with how old they are even now, so I was expecting to go into those missions being like, oh god, this is gonna be painful. But no, I was able to, for the most part, with this run, anyways, get things pretty easily. And I gotta say, I'm pretty happy for that. And I love this ending bit. I don't think I talked about it last time, but this ending bit, I truly do love it. Probably one of the better endings in Mario, in my opinion anyways. Because, like, yeah, there's the one with 64. I definitely wouldn't consider Sunshine to be a very great ending with how a lot of people usually react to finishing that game, especially 100%. But, this is just a very nice end. You see everything come together, essentially. Everything is the way it was, with quite a number of changes. You see the Star Festival and what it was. Now, one of the things that I'm wondering about, actually, because, again, I've never 100%ed this game before, but I do know what happens, obviously. You unlock Luigi, but I do know what happens when you 100% the game as Luigi. You go through the Star Festival again, from the very beginning of the game. Like, it's a mission now. You can actually do the mission of going through the Star Festival. And they treat it as a 100-coin mission. But, I don't know if you do that as Mario. Like, I've never seen anybody, I've never bothered to look up footage myself, but I've never seen anybody play as Mario doing the Star Festival 100-coin mission, so I don't actually know if there is an end to the, if there is a 100-coin mission with the Star Festival for Mario. So yeah. And I gotta say, the ending credits music for this game is very beautiful as well. Especially compared to Galaxy 2, not to put anything down on Galaxy 2, obviously, with its ending music. Again, Galaxy 1 and 2 both have amazing soundtracks. A number of songs, most of the songs, I'm pretty sure, for Galaxy 2 are just Galaxy 1 again, with maybe a remix thrown in here and there. But I want to say that Galaxy 2's ending credits song focuses more on using, not necessarily its own original tune, but it rather, I think it implements Gusty Garden Galaxy music into it more often because, it was at this time where, again, Gusty Garden Galaxy is a very popular galaxy, and the music for it especially is like the most memorized thing about the galaxy itself. And I think that Nintendo ended up using that song as the thing that represents Galaxy 2 as a whole. Real quick, that planet on the top left there, that's the planet that I actually ignored earlier for a Deep Dark Galaxy. But again, I guess I'll just have to save that for the Luigi run then. But, crap, what was I just talking about? My one-track mind. This is what happens when I'm talking about one thing, then I get distracted by another thing. I lose what I was talking about. Oh yeah, ending credit music. Yeah, Super Mario Galaxy 2, for its ending credits, I don't recall the entirety of it, but I do know that a good amount of it is implementing Gusty Garden Galaxy. Meanwhile, Galaxy 1 here, it's using the song from when you first start up the game at the very beginning when you open up the title screen. Like, this is the Mario Galaxy theme. And it's such a good song. It's so good. It really represents the journey that you went on in this game from beginning to end, with the grand adventure that you had, and it's overall just an incredibly enjoyable thing. And I will say that I am looking forward to doing it a second time as Luigi. And I'm going to try my best not to be... I'm going to be trying my best not to take my time to get back to this stream with Luigi. I want to try and do it as soon as possible. Even if I may end up feeling a bit exhausted from Mario Galaxy. I've never played the game as Luigi, and I wanna do it, okay? So I'm gonna try and not keep anyone waiting in that regard for this. But with that, we have reached the end of our 100% run of Mario Galaxy 1 as Mario.
Thank you so much for playing my game.
Thank you, Mario, for having a great game. And with this... Oh? Are we going to have the final mission? We have the cutscene here with Rosalina. I actually legitimately completely forgot about this. I thought this was going to be a Luigi-only thing, but no. Because we got all 120 stars, we get this final scene with Rosalina here. And she's looking down at the planet that, for the new universe, has been made. And again, it's because of this game that legitimately I can understand why everyone, when this game came out anyways, immediately made Rosalina their favorite character. Because, I mean, she's a good character. Oh, and the music that's playing during this sequence too is so good. I'm gonna turn it up a little more. Back to the rest of the universe we go. And there's the very ship that Rosalina took to the stars. With a new Luma to start its journey.
Super Luigi Galaxy.
It's time. Luigi time. Okay, it looks like yeah, okay, yeah, I was right. It looks like you don't do the Star Festival with Mario. Unless there's something that I don't realize. But yeah, it looks like the Star Festival is a Luigi-only thing, so yeah. And conveniently, we just we just conveniently crossed the 2-hour mark for this stream, so I think this is going to be a perfect spot to end things for this stream. So next time, anybody that comes in, we are going to be going and doing the Super Luigi Galaxy Run 100%, since it's my first time ever unlocking Luigi. Looking forward to that, and thank you everybody who showed up. All one of you for this particular stream, but again, thank you for showing up. And hope you all have a fantastic rest of your day and take care.